What if I told you there's a camera that lets you shoot in full color, but with the detail and depth of black and white? Yep, you heard that right. It's just one of the many surprises we've got in store for you today. Today, we'll look at the cameras we'd buy from each brand and the unique features that make them stand out. So let's explore the best options from top brands and see which one suits you. First up, we've got the OM system OM1 Mark II. For us, this little powerhouse is perfect for outdoor photographers who need a tough, versatile camera. Its 20 megapixel sensor may seem small, but it's packed with tech. The weather sealing is top-notch, so you can shoot in harsh conditions without worry. Wildlife photographers will love the 120 frame per second electronic shutter for capturing fast action. The 5-axis stabilization is a lifesaver in low light. And for you vloggers out there, the 4K 60p video and flip-out screen are great features. Sure, the micro four thirds sensor might struggle a bit in very low light, but for most situations, it's more than capable. If you need a camera that won't weigh you down on long shoots, but can still deliver the goods, we'd say the OM1 Mark II is worth a look. Now let's talk about the Leica M10 Monochrome. We've found this camera to be a bit of a niche product, but for black and white photography enthusiasts, we think it's a real gem. The 40 megapixel sensor is designed specifically for black and white images, which means you get sharper, more detailed shots than you would with a color sensor converted to monochrome. It's a low-light champion, producing usable images even at high ISOs. The optical viewfinder gives you a direct connection to your subject that's hard to find in digital cameras these days. However, it's not for everyone. There's no autofocus, and the rangefinder system takes some getting used to. It's also quite pricey and doesn't do video. But in our experience, if you're serious about black and white photography and willing to invest the time and money, the image quality is hard to beat. Moving on to the Fuji GX100 Mark II. We've seen that this camera is all about image quality, plain and simple. The 102 megapixel medium format sensor captures an astounding level of detail, making it ideal for landscape or studio work where every pixel counts. Fuji's famous film simulations give you beautiful colors straight out of the camera. Despite its large sensor, it handles surprisingly well and even offers good video features. But let's be real, this camera is big, heavy, and expensive. It's not something you'd want to lug around all day, and the autofocus isn't as snappy as smaller sensor cameras. However, if you need the ultimate in image quality and have the budget for it, we believe the GX100 Mark II delivers in spades. That's why it'll be another camera we would buy for its better image quality. Let's talk about the Canon R5 Mark I. In our view, this camera is a jack of all trades that excels in both stills and video. The 45 megapixel sensor gives you plenty of resolution without overwhelming your hard drives. The autofocus system is top-notch, making it great for action or wildlife photography. On the video side, you've got 8K RAW and 4K 120p options, which is pretty impressive. The in-body stabilization works well for both stills and video, and the flip-out screen is handy for vlogging. One thing to watch out for is heat management when shooting high-res video for long periods. While it's not cheap, it's more affordable than some high-end specialist cameras. If you need a versatile camera that can handle pretty much anything you throw at it, we'd say the R5 is a solid choice. Here's another pick, which we prefer, the Canon C100 Mark I. We've found that this older camera still has its place in certain workflows. It's a dedicated video camera from Canon's cinema line, with a super 35mm sensor that gives a nice cinematic look to your footage. It shines in low light, producing clean footage even at high ISOs. The built-in ND filters are super handy for outdoor shooting. However, it's limited to 1080p resolution, which might not cut it for some modern productions. The autofocus is also showing its age. Despite these limitations, we've seen it still produce beautiful footage. For us, it's a good option for documentary work or as a B camera on larger productions, especially if you're on a budget. Let's switch gears and talk about the Sony ZV1. The 1-inch sensor balances good image quality with a small size, and the 24 to 70mm equivalent lens is versatile for different shooting situations. Features like background defocus and product showcase setting are tailor-made for content creators. The flip-out screen and directional mic make self-shooting a breeze. The autofocus is quick and reliable, even in tricky lighting. However, battery life is on the short side, especially when shooting 4K. The lens, while versatile, isn't super wide, which can be limiting for vlogging in tight spaces. But if you're starting out in vlogging or need a compact V camera, we think the ZV1 is definitely worth considering. Now let's look at the Sony FX9 Mark I. We see this as a serious tool for professional video production. The full-frame sensor delivers beautiful cinematic images, and the dual-base ISO allows for clean footage in various lighting conditions. The 15 stops of dynamic range give you plenty of flexibility in post-production. The autofocus system is impressive, with face detection and eye tracking. The variable ND filter is a huge help for outdoor shooting. However, it's big, heavy, and expensive, putting it out of reach for many independent filmmakers. The base model is also limited to 4K 60p, needing an extension unit for higher frame rates. But if you're in the market for a high-end video camera, particularly for documentary or corporate work, we believe the FX9 is a strong contender. Let's take a trip down memory lane with the Canon 5D Mark II. This camera holds a special place in photography history as one of the first DSLRs to offer full HD video, kickstarting a revolution in indie filmmaking. Even today, the full-frame sensor delivers good image quality, especially in low light. Many photographers still love the classic Canon color science, but the truth is, it's definitely showing its age. The autofocus is slow by modern standards, there's no built-in stabilization, and the rear screen doesn't tilt or flip. Video features are basic compared to current cameras. But if you're looking for an affordable way to get into full-frame photography and don't mind the limitations, we think the 5D Mark II could be a good learning tool. Moving to more recent, here's the Nikon Z63. We found this camera to be a solid all-rounder in the mirrorless world. The 24.5-megapixel sensor strikes a nice balance between resolution and low-light performance. The autofocus system has seen significant improvements, with good subject tracking. Video features are strong, with 4K 120-pixel and even 6K options available. The in-body stabilization works well for both stills and video. But the buffer isn't as deep as some competitors, which can be limiting for long burst shoots. Some users also find the menu system a bit confusing. Despite these minor issues, we see the Z63 as a versatile tool that's equally at home shooting weddings, events, or light video work. So we think it's a good choice for Nikon users looking to make the jump to mirrorless. Let's check out the Fuji XS20, an interesting option in the APS-C world that we think offers a nice balance of features at a reasonable price. The 26.1-megapixel sensor delivers good image quality with Fuji's famous color science. The in-body stabilization is helpful for both stills and video. And the 6.2K 30-pixel and 4K 60-pixel video options are impressive for this price point. The vari-angle screen and decent autofocus make it suitable for vlogging. Fuji's film simulation modes are a fun way to get different looks in camera. On the downside, the EVF isn't as large or high-res as some competitors, and battery life could be better, especially when shooting video. But if you want Fuji's color science without breaking the bank, we believe the XS20 offers a lot of bang for your buck. Panasonic GH6. Last but not least, we didn't forget about Panasonic's camera, GH6. Its Micro Four Thirds camera is a video powerhouse. It can shoot 5.7K 60-pixel and 4K 120-pixel, which is impressive for its class. The unlimited recording time is great for long events or interviews, and ProRes recording internally is a nice touch for serious video work. The in-body stabilization is among the best out there, which is super helpful for handheld shooting. For stills, the high-resolution mode allows you to get more detail in static scenes. While with all its strength, its autofocus still falls short compared to some of its competitors. The smaller sensor can also struggle in very low light compared to larger sensor cameras. But for videographers, especially those doing documentary or event work, we think the GH6 is a solid choice. So that's all about the cameras we would prefer from each brand. Do let us know what you think about these cameras. As for everything else, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you want more content like this on your feed.